The recent invasion of Gaza and the blatant murder of innocent civilians by Israeli forces has led to protests all over the world. Citizens of numerous cities in the UK, France, Italy, Canada, Germany, Australia, and the US have taken to the streets to voice their concerns. And yes, even San Antonio. On Saturday, San Antonians took over the Alamo Plaza chanting, "Free, free Palestine," and "Stop the killing, stop the war."
The reason I'm here, and the reason is because what is happening right now in the Middle East, it's very, very unfortunate and very, very criminal that we have a country like Israel, which is a nuclear weapon country with nuclear submarines, the fourth largest military power in the world, and going and bombing and slaughtering people in Gaza.
Many supporters of Palestine have been labeled anti-Semitic by the public. They argue that they are not against Jewish people, but the Israeli Zionist state. While the mainstream media still purports that Israel is only protecting itself from Hamas, the rest of the world sees Israel as a war criminal, specifically targeting women, children, homes, mosques, and hospitals.
As we speak today, the information is still coming up, but there are at least 300 innocent people. All the majority are men, women, and children, and that they've been killed. And we have more than 2,000 people who've been maimed. And then in addition to that, there are at least 50,000 homeless as a result of that. More than 2,500 homes have been demolished.
Graphic images of children killed by the conflict have flooded social networks, leading to the creation of many pages supporting the end of violence in the region. This public attention has even led to a veteran NBC reporter being pulled out of Gaza after he reported on the killing of 4 Palestinian children on a beach by Israeli gunboats on Wednesday.
As Americans, and regardless of being Christian, Jews, or Muslim, we cannot sit and be idle and let this happen. What we have to do is find a peaceful solution. We have to have a dialogue, and the United States can make a big difference. But unfortunately, the United States have, for the last many years, sided with Israel that allows Israel to dominate the whole Middle East.
The media's blatant refusal to cover the death and destruction in Palestine should be more than enough to raise some questions. However, many Americans still trust the media as their only outlet for news and refuse to hear anything that may contradict that. U.S. public opinion has been heavily swayed by the condemnation and demonization of Hamas, an organization that has been labeled as terrorist by the U.S. and other Western nations. However, in other parts of the world that are not so heavily manipulated, Hamas is seen as what it is: Palestine's last and only line of defense against the ruthless and overpowering occupier of their land.
One of the biggest issues that confronting the whole Holy Land, if you will, is that Israel and the United States and some of the Western Europe nations have branded Hamas as a terrorist organization, where in fact, just to repeat very quickly, there was an election, free election. In fact, President Carter oversaw the election in the year 2007, and it was a free election and fair election, and Hamas won. And Hamas is not a terrorist organization. It's only in the Western world.
Since the beginning of Britain's occupation in 1918 and the establishment of a Jewish state in 1948, there has been non-stop conflict and nearly 100,000 Palestinian lives have been lost. More than 530 Palestinian villages have been depopulated and completely destroyed. The United Nations now considers 4 million Palestinians to be refugees. Israel continues to build illegal settlements to the west and are said to control at least 88% of the region, completely surrounding Palestine, as you can see from the map.
Primarily, I'm concerned with what is happening in the Holy Land, in Jerusalem, and I'm very much a person who would like to find a peaceful solution to the conflict. I don't talk about violence, I don't talk about wars. I'm only passing by for information, but mostly I talk about the way of reconciliation and trying to find a peaceful solution to the conflict.
Regardless of the facts, The United States continues to support Israel by sending them $3.8 billion of taxpayer money each year, as well as giving them access to U.S. military-grade equipment such as the F-35 fighter jet. Americans need to ask themselves, why are we still supporting Israel? Why is America supporting genocide and ethnic cleansing? Or at the very least, why is America perpetuating this conflict?
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is not a just war.
This is not a just